Hi, welcome. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys, ages 10 to 20. And today I actually want to share with you some gluten-free meals that I have been filming. I wanted to do like dinners for a week, but it just didn't work out that way. And so this is some filmage from probably a couple weeks ago, all the way through now, just trying to grab the camera when I could and get some footage of some gluten-free dinners that we eat. One of them was actually new to us, but turned out really good, so I'm going to share that with you. We have been on the gluten-free journey for 10 years. My second oldest has celiac, and it started out with him, and then we just realized it's just easier. At the point, a couple of my other boys were having some issues. So right now, we're all gluten-free except my oldest, but when he is home, that is how he eats. So I'm going to turn this camera around and go back in time a little bit and show you the dinners. I think there's actually 6 dinners I am sharing with you. But keep in mind, one reason I have not done in a week is because a lot of times I cook enough for leftovers at least one time. Not all the time. We find out they're hungrier than I thought that evening. Then there's not a whole lot, maybe enough for 1 or 2 to eat the next day. I may try to do that in the future if you're interested in a week's worth of even just our meals. Let me know. I'll see what I can do. I do also do homeschool content. I also try to throw in some gluten-free content and share with you different things that we have used, different dinners, recipes. So if you like this type of content, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. All right, let's get started on cooking. Okay, tonight I am gonna cook this chicken up and do a recipe. I'm sort of trying something new that I actually was out of town last weekend at a ladies retreat, and they had this delicious chicken that had like barbecue sauce and cheddar cheese and then bacon on it. Somebody said they've had something similar at a restaurant. So, but I'm gonna try it. I thought, ooh, I think I have all those things. I had this chicken it was like a clearance thing that I bought in the freezer, and these are the thighs, I don't know if you can see them, and that were just a few left over from a packet, and I think those are from Sam's. So I'm going to get this cooking a little bit and decide on how I'm going to make it, and I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to start by getting the cheese ready, and then I need to come up with a barbecue sauce. I do not have any, so let's try to make a recipe. I'm going to start with some ketchup and mustard, as you can see, and I did just get some coconut amino from my Azure Standard order, so I was very excited about that. Trying a little bit of that, not a whole lot, and then just a little bit of sweetener. I'm using monk fruit. I think it also has stevia in it. Okay, here is the chicken. I'm going to show you each step. I just made up a recipe for barbecue sauce. Here's some bacon. It is Applegate bacon, and I actually am trying to microwave some of it to make it a little bit more crunchy, and then I'm going to break that up after I put the cheese. Sorry, that was the microwave door. And I'll keep showing you the steps. Okay, this is going to be quite a bit different than what I had, but I'm hoping it still tastes good. So I've chopped up the bacon, and just gonna put some of it on the chicken, and I'm gonna keep doing that and put it back in the oven for a little bit. Okay, I am going to put it in the oven. Might actually even just turn the oven off and let it stay warm. Okay, here is a plate. I had a little bit of broccoli left, so I just baked it. Some rice and the chicken with the sauce and the cheese and the bacon, and then I warmed up some green beans. So this is our dinner for tonight. I am going to be making this Trim Healthy Mama enchilada wonder casserole. Here is some of the ingredients. I've got all the enchilada sauce stuff ready to mix up. I still need to cook up the ground beef. I was able to get some ground beef at a local farmer's market. I actually got a 40-pound box, so I was really excited about that. So I'm going to start cooking all of this up. Okay, I just added the enchilada sauce to this pan, And I have this meat cooking also. I'm making another dinner, and I will show you what that is here in a little bit. Okay. These were the Trim Healthy Mama wraps that I made last video or so, and I had actually just went ahead and ended up putting them in the freezer. So I'm gonna actually warm them up a little bit and maybe toast them a little bit before I make the enchilada dinner with the meat and cheese. I am just showing you the picture again. I am sorry I did not get a picture of that. The other pan of meat, I am making baked spaghetti, and this is just sort of like, instead of the ricotta cheese mix, I am using cottage cheese and making that cheesy layer with an egg and some seasoning. So it is noodles, meat with spaghetti sauce, and the cheese mix, and then I also sprinkle on some mozzarella parmesan mix of cheese. And again, I apologize, I did not get the final picture out of the oven on the plate for you, but all I did was layer it twice like this, and then I put it in the oven for about 350 for about 30 minutes, mainly just to warm it up and melt everything. Okay, I really didn't show the full process of this, but I'm making like a chicken casserole. And I already have some rice cooked up. It's white rice, and actually made a whole chicken. There's the rest of the stuff. I think I'm going to try to make some bone broth from the chicken. And so I got that all chopped up. And then I am just going to add green beans. My boys some cannot stand peas, some like broccoli and don't, but I think a majority of them like green beans. I had this, and this is going to be easy. I'm just sort of taking a knife and just sort of making them into small bites. So, all right, there's that. Okay, I also took some of the chicken broth and added a cup of milk, probably almost a cup of chicken broth and a cup of milk. About 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour and a tablespoon of the Zaxxon gum. And I'm just, as you can see, it's really starting to thicken up. This is going to be my sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and get some cheese sliced up and also put cheese on the top layer. So I'll show that to you in just a minute. Okay, I just poured that, I guess you'd call it cream of chicken, because that's what I was working towards, on the casserole. I'm going to get that stirred in and finish up with the green beans. Okay, I know I keep showing you this, but I wanted to tell you, I put little slices of butter all over it, mainly because I just feel like when you cook rice and then refrigerate it, especially this white rice, I just didn't want it to be the texture of being dried out. So now I'm going to sprinkle the cheese, and we're going to get it in the oven. Okay, I am still dealing with that chicken broth. I had a chicken in the Instant Pot, and I cooked one in the crock pot, and I actually made the bone broth in the crock pot. I just transported it all over there, and now I am trying to strain it out so I just have the broth and not all the extras in there. And I am going to use the rest of it. I'm going to make some soup, and I'm also going to put some of it in the freezer. For the soup, I took some of my garlic out of the freezer that I had already, and I'm going to saute the garlic in some butter with some onion. And I'm also going to be adding the chicken broth. I think I use about half chicken broth, half water, as I'm deciding how much liquid I need in there. So that is where I start. And I also add celery and the chicken from the crock pot, just cutting that up, getting that added in there. So, okay, I am cooking that soup, and I'm going to get this bone broth put into some jars. They're just recycled glass jars that I am using, and I'm not going to fill them up to the top because I'm going to put them in the freezer, and they need some expansion room for that frozen liquid. I do want to share with you, I did put some broccoli in my soup. So I started out with onion and garlic sauteing, and then added the broth and the chicken and some celery. But I want to encourage you that you can use whatever vegetables. Like my broccoli was a bag of frozen broccoli. So if you're making soup, especially if you have the good broth and you want everybody to enjoy it, just, you know, whatever vegetables you have in hand, whether in the fridge or in the freezer. So I want to encourage you there that will not matter. This is pretty much cooled off because I've been letting it sit in the bowl for a while. I am going to put the date on it and put them in the freezer because I have some others and I want to make sure that I don't grab these first, because I will forget even if they're in a different jar. It's amazing. You'll be like, when was that? So the dates on your things, I'll just get a black permanent marker and do that. Let me show you what I'm going to do with the soup next. Okay, I have this Just gelatin, and I'm going to see, to be honest, I'm making this up as I go. And I thought that would be a thickener, so I am going to try that and see how it works to thicken it up, and I might add some cream to make it more of a creamy type. Let me see, how much is it usually? A tablespoon. So I'm going to try that and see how that goes to thicken it up a little bit. And I know this has pretty much been on the stove, you know, since after lunch, and that's fine. I actually just added the broccoli in not real long ago, so but it is long enough where it's been cooked. So I'm gonna add this in to give it a thickener and a little bit of the cream, the heavy cream. I just think I probably would like it either way, but I think my husband would like it a little thicker. A little more fat would help fill you up a little bit also. So I would say a couple tablespoons there, maybe 1/4 of a cup. So, and I'm going to let that simmer just a tad bit longer. I'll let you look at it. It looks a little bit more like a cream of chicken. I'm actually really debating on putting cream cheese in there, but I haven't decided. I will let you know, or I could just sprinkle some cheese on top. So, but I think this is going to thicken it up. I'm going to let it simmer for a little bit longer and see what happens. Okay, this is actually the chicken soup, and it did thicken up a little bit. This has been in the refrigerator. Didn't get a shot of it the first night, but we've been eating on it, and it's really good. Tonight I am making something that I know I have made before, but it is the mini meatloaves. It is a popular recipe around here, and I have actually shared it with others who really liked it. There is oatmeal in it, and I want to share with you that I usually blend up my oatmeal because a couple of my boys do not like chunks of oatmeal. And a couple eggs. This is 2 pounds of meat. But I think I put extra oatmeal in there, so I'm going to put a little extra milk, and I have not added the cheddar cheese. So for each pound of meat, it is 1/2 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of cheese, and then I also put garlic powder and onion powder in there also to season it. And you could do that however you want. I've actually put chopped up real small in the blender some veggies before, so you could do that with, you know, anything really, but tonight this is what we have. I need to get the cheese out and get it on the pan, and I'll show you what they look like. Getting ready to stir in the cheese. I did want to mention that this is mild cheddar, but it really is best with sharp cheddar. Just gives it a better flavor, stronger taste. So gonna mix this up. Okay, we are making the topping, which is ketchup, and I want to say depends on how much you want. I don't actually put it on all of the meatloaves, so and a couple of my boys, they like it, but not a lot, and some people like it drenched. So what I'm mixing is ketchup and a little bit of mustard and I have people in my family that do not like mustard, but the flavor, I mean, you're almost making, it's a little sweeter than a barbecue sauce. It's actually quite different. And then I'm going to add in some, not a whole lot, but some coconut sugar. And you can use any kind of sugar you want. Brown sugar would make it definitely better, but this kind has a little bit of a brown sugar flavor. And then we're just going to mix that up. I am holding the camera. I don't have it on a tripod, so I probably should. So we're going to mix that up. Probably put too much sugar in there, but some people will be happy. Okay, and then we're going to go over here to the meatloaves that I've just put on the pan. Oven is at 350. And then you usually are supposed to take a spoon and sort of give it like a little, to sort of dent in a little to put the sauce in that. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, so I'm going to get this done with some of them, and then I'm not going to put it on all of them like I said, but all right, and then I'll show you. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven. I did not put the sauce on all of them. Just remember, when you are doing the sauce and you're double dipping, which I did, and it does have raw meat on it, contamination. So I know most people will know that, but sometimes it might be, if you think you're not going to use all the sauce, pour it in something else before you start. So all right, let's get those in the oven for about 30 minutes. Okay, here's one of the meatloaves with green beans and rice, and that's what we're serving up tonight. Well, I appreciate you all watching that video, and if you have any questions or need more details about any of the recipes, please comment below, or maybe just share why you're watching this gluten-free video. Are you needing to go gluten-free for a health reason, or are you just curious? Would love to hear from you. And sometimes I've looked up recipes to help someone else out that had an allergy to something specifically. So maybe that's why you're here. But I do appreciate you all watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you. Dinners. I think there's, let's see, there's chicken, enchilada, lasagna, chicken rice. I think there's actually 6 dinners.